deep, very serious.
כן? נתחיל? Okay, so we'll start with the most general question. What is a city, according to you?
Yeah, I think we need maybe to replace the word city with the word urban environment, and then I'm referring to the in-between city that Shivers was talking about, or also Francois Cher was talking about this notion of metapolis, where now we never enter a city, but we're always actually in an urban environment where you have built areas, agriculture areas, natural protected areas. So I think that's where we can begin to talk about the city as another kind of field of different kinds of activities.
Mm-hmm. So then you already answered partially the second question. Can urbanity exist without a city?
I think that's the notion of sometimes first we need to define what's urbanity, and we need to maybe go away from the nostalgic kind of new urbanism approach of urbanity, which is more like a setting rather than a kind of a set of relations. And if we go away from that, I think there's a very nice kind of notion given by Morales on the materiality of the urban, what makes the urban. And if we do that, I think we begin to see that urbanity has to do with issues of accessibility, has to do with issues of sharing, issues of porous edges, and also moments of exchange or of a transformation of flows. So my answer would be there are some cities that don't have urbanity. And if I go to for example, to references of Keller Easterling, who was talking about these huge kind of compounds of development that are taking place on this kind of global level, and they brand themselves as smart cities or kind of modern contemporary cities. Those cities are kind of away from this definition of urbanity that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Great. What is, according to you, the biggest challenge to cities today?
Well, I would say there is the challenge of environmental injustice that goes hand in hand with social injustice, and that I think brings the field of urbanism and architecture face to face with this archipelago of really kind of segregated enclaves. So that's one major challenge. Then I think the other challenge, which goes on double scale, one I think is what I said before of Keller Easterling, how can we avoid this incentive urbanism that creates these kind of states of exception, and kind of realizing that the states are losing their power, therefore private investment becomes the actor behind the cities. So that's another challenge of where is the architecture there and urban design. And I think on the other level of the spectrum, the scale is how can we avoid communitarism which is based on sameness, meaning same ethnic origin, same social class, and this kind of communitarism is very well exploited by real estate that creates, again, segregated, really secured areas. And I think that's unfortunately an increasing kind of phenomenon. And I think the challenge is it possible through urban design and architecture to create conditions of welcoming the newcomers? Is it possible to allow people with no power to have the right to this kind of environments? So I think that's where the major challenges are.
What do you think should be our task as urbanists? Curate, create, orchestrate?
Well, that's, first of all, I think our task is to realize our incompleteness as a field of expertise. And then another kind of, maybe it depends where you ask, to whom you ask this question. Is it kind of an urbanist architect, an urbanist economist, an urbanist geographer? Therefore, this kind of incompleteness kind of calls for the project as a platform of exchange of knowledge. And that's maybe the, I would say, the major challenge for the planners and the urbanists, to allow for this kind of exchange and stop kind of fragmenting knowledge kind of on this kind of discipline wise. Because I think these huge challenges that I mentioned before, they are not disciplined. They cannot be separated in different disciplines. So that's where one should look for.
Mm-hmm. So my last question, what is the ideal urban project?
Well, the ideal urban project, and it goes back to my kind of comment on usually these projects are done not by the state anymore, but by private developers. Therefore, we find the teams behind the study of this project being kind of in this paradox condition that they have to have this multi-agency. On one hand, they have to be for their clients, but on the other hand, they have to keep this importance of public space and the notion of the commons within the project. So I think the ideal urban project is that can allow this fragmented, by definition, development to be in a dynamic way part of the rest of the urban environment, and to have a specific kind of welcoming of the rest of the city within it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
Thank you.